Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT Live at CES is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com. This is TWiT Special number 58, the Consumer Electronics Show, Las Vegas 2011. Ford CEO Alan Mulally. TWiT Live at CES is brought to you by Ford and voice-activated Sync with My Ford Touch. Make calls, play music, and more with Sync with My Ford Touch. Available exclusively on Ford and Lincoln vehicles. For more information and online demos, visit syncmyridepodcast.com.
So we thought we'd go live in case they bring Alan over. The minute they bring Alan over, we'll start talking to him. We are going to go back to the stage in about half an hour and get more from the stage at 10 o'clock Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And if my math is correct, 1700 UTC, is that right? See, I don't have the chat room to correct me. We'll be doing our Home Theater Geeks show live from the video booth, the Panasonic and Sony booths. Scott Wilkinson will take us on a tour of 3D TV, 4K TV, and a lot more. So that's coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on live.twit.tv. Right after that, we go back to the stage with another parade. Oh. Okay. I'm waiting for Alan. With a parade of gadgets at 2:30, of course. It will be, at 2:30, it will be TNT. And then at 3 o'clock, I'll take it back on the stage, and we'll do yet another parade of gadgets. Believe it or not, I think we're going to take tonight off. So those of you, I hope you enjoyed our Showstoppers coverage last night, live coverage last night. The night before, digital experience. I hope you enjoyed that. And tonight we're going to give you and everybody else here a little bit of an evening off. Tomorrow, the Tech Guy and TWiT all day Saturday and Sunday, too, from CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas 2011. We hope you're enjoying our coverage here at live.twit.tv. Well, okay, I guess I can talk louder now. They've stopped rehearsing. I was doing my golf talk so that I wouldn't interrupt their rehearsal, but they've momentarily paused the rehearsal. We're going to get Alan over here in just a little bit and get the chance to talk to the CEO of Ford Motor Company, Alan Mulally. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage. I do want to thank Ford for making that coverage possible. Our sponsors really make a big difference. It's a very expensive enterprise. I really want to thank the folks at LiveView. I don't know if you realize this, but much of the coverage, the live coverage you've been watching, is coming to you via 3G networks. This LiveView backpack that cameraman Brent By is carrying. Say hi, Brent. He's waving at me anyway. Yeah, a big, heavy backpack, about 20-pound backpack. It's got 6 3G cards in it, and you know, nobody has been able to use their iPhone here at CES. There's so many iPhones that the AT&T 3G network basically is useless during the day. It's only late at night that you can use it. I can only harvest my cauliflower late at night. And by the way, AT&T, you owe me for 12 failed cauliflower crops. I just want to say that, okay? However, nobody apparently is using T-Mobile. Verizon put a lot of bandwidth in here. In fact, yesterday at the Verizon keynote, the Verizon CEO said, by the way, turn on your 3G phones. There's plenty of bandwidth. Don't worry. A real, you know, kind of backsided slap to AT&T, which really hasn't worked well here at all. So this LiveView is great because it has 6 cards, including AT&T cards, but also Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon cards. We can bond with the best quality 3G networks, and we're able to send you a very good signal. This is the SD unit. Later in the day, in fact, I think maybe even with Scott Wilkinson, you'll see our HD unit. That unit's capable of streaming high-def content, really good quality content, over 3G networks. We're using Brent's Cine Alta, his Sony EX1 camcorder. This is a great high-def camcorder that's capable of incredible images. Images you probably won't see at home over our TWiT live stream since we're not high-def, but it's recording great quality images. And with the LiveView HD, it can stream them as well. So we're very excited. I think over time you're going to see the TWiT network up. There's Alan speaking. You might get a shot of him. As soon as he finishes his rehearsal, we're going to get him over here and get a chance to talk to him. This is a little preview of the keynote that's going to be coming up at 11 o'clock. We probably shouldn't shoot too much of that. We got in a little trouble last night with bringing our cameras where we shouldn't. One of the cool things about the live view is you can broadcast from anywhere, including, as we found out, places you're not supposed to broadcast from. And I want to thank Hilton Goring for his manfulness in facing rather large opposition. I'm not going to go any farther than that, but we did a good job. I think we got you the story from Showstoppers. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now while we're waiting to speak to Ford CEO Alan Mulally. Amazing story. You know, I've mentioned this before, but a Boeing engineer, an engineer by training. He's was responsible for the 777 cockpit, which is the most high-tech cockpit in the history of aviation. It's all fly-by-wire. I mean, this guy is a really brilliant engineer. And it's interesting that Ford turned, when they decided to not have the family run the company, turned to somebody who had a background in engineering. And I think it turned out to be a very, very good move. Mulally immediately went out and borrowed money, knowing that tough times are coming to the auto industry. And because of it, Ford never had to go to the U.S. government for funds. They're the only one of the big three that didn't have to do that. You may remember when the big three CEOs flew to Washington in their private jets. Alan was one of those, and he renounced the private jet and has been driving his own vehicles ever since. I asked him last year when we talked to him, which Ford do you drive? He says, I rarely get to drive a Ford. I mostly drive the competition. He has a new car every week, drives himself, loves driving, is a fanatic driver, and you know, gets to drive any vehicle he wants. Of course, I'm sure he would choose a Ford. In fact, I'm hoping I can ask him. My wife has called me up this morning and said, would you ask Alan which Ford we should buy for our next Ford? So I'm going to try to get some buying advice from the CEO of Ford Motor Company. Alan's talking with his stage manager, and as soon as he's done, I'm sure they'll bring him over to us and we can have a little conversation with Alan Mulally. Last year when I interviewed him, I got all dressed up. I thought, well, this is the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the country. I put a tie and a blazer on, and Alan showed up in a sweater vest. So this time I'm not wearing a tie, notice, and nor is Alan. He's got a nice bright red Ford sweater vest. Is he gonna drive that Focus off the stage? I hope not. All right, they're gonna bring him over to us in just a little bit. Alan, great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us. I know you've got a keynote in a couple of hours. You all ready?
Oh, absolutely. The story, you know, remember when we talked last year, and this is the year of moving forward on electrification, and the story we're going to get a chance to share about, you know, Ford's technology roadmap, improving the internal combustion engine, alternate fuels, and then move into electrification, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, all electric. But Leo, the most fantastic thing is the system solution that we're going to tell everybody about, all the applications so that we all can manage our electric lives, where we're going to charge, when we're going to charge, off-peak hours, the pricing, being able to save energy and monitor it, and then combining that with My Ford and Sync. Your eyes are on the road, your hands are on the wheel, consumer electronics controllers, improving safety, and yet we're connected to our wired world. That's our story.
Yeah, you just told it. Well, that was a good speech, and now you can now you can go home.
Can you do my
when did you join Ford? About 5 years ago?
4 years ago, last September.
So in the cycle of car development is at least that long. We're starting to now see the Alan Mulally legacy in effect.
Well, absolutely. And when we pulled together around our compelling vision to focus on the Ford brand 4 years ago,
polish the blue oval is what you said.
Absolutely, because remember we were a house of brands. We had Aston Martin and Jaguar and Land Rover and Volvo and Mazda. And if we were going to create an exciting, viable, profitably growing company, in today's world, the customer really wants brand clarity. What is your brand? What's the promise? So we decided to focus on Ford. We divested those other brands. And they're great brands, and they'll do fine, but 85% of our business was Ford. But then the other decision we made, Leo, was to have a full family of vehicles, small, medium, and large, cars, utilities, and trucks. So when you walk into the Ford showroom, you have a vehicle that you can choose that fits your lifestyle, no matter what size, whether it's utility or an SUV or a sedan. The next big decision we made is, remember, Ford was always kind of competitive, but never had made a commitment to the consumers to be best in class. So we defined it in terms of what we care about: quality, fuel efficiency, safety, really smart design like Sync and My Ford, And of course, with Ford's scale and intellectual capability around the world, also the very best value. And so what you're seeing now is that all the cycle times are coming down. We've got vehicles in every market segment. They're best in class.
What is the cycle time now?
The focus, we're down about 3 years now.
Really?
Yeah, and because we have fewer platforms and we're doing more on each platform. And that's another thing we're going to share today, that this new Focus, the electric version of it, is one of 10 top hats off that brand new C1 platform. So it's going to be made in 5 different locations.
It's a universal platform.
Exactly, and 80% of the parts are the same, and the rest we tailor to the absolute unique requirements for the consumers around the world. Now you can imagine what that means to the cost structure, the simplification of the vehicles. All our supplier partners are lined up. So it allows you then to really accelerate the innovation on the products. And then we separated out the consumer electronics development process because it's a much faster cycle time, right? So we kept an open architecture.
That's a real problem. You got a 3-year cycle time for the cars, but consumer electronics is 3 months.
Absolutely, and so we separated out that. We didn't put any proprietary stuff inside the car. We're not trying to make a business out of selling the capability. But you can imagine from a consumer point of view, with an open architecture, all of the consumer electronics competition continues, the innovation at their cycle time, and then you're going to be stopping by the Ford store and just getting a sync, just getting an update to your vehicle.
Right. That's very cool. Your background as an engineer, and I sense that engineering behind everything that's happening here. This is now an engineering-driven company.
It's a technology company, absolutely, and it's all about technology, and it's about innovation that meets and exceeds what people really do want and value. And you just think about just think about the My Ford and Sync for a moment. You know, that was a point of view that we are going to be in a wired world, and we all don't want to have different lifestyles at different, you know, depending where we're in our house or outside or in the car. So what we have really done is put the consumer right back in the center, and now Ford is the automobile app of choice. I'm just saying.
No, it's true. And in fact, you know, the competitors, Toyota said, oh, maybe we better do something like that. But they've got to catch up. Everybody's playing catch up now. How hard was it to solve that problem? You've got a 3-year cycle, which is already very fast in the car industry, this fast consumer electronics cycle. Things are changing very quickly. You can't let can't let people have access to the car computer. That's dangerous. These are some real tough problems.
Well, and it's really a design job, as you know. So what we have done is separate out the vehicle functions and the safety functions and the fundamental of the car from the outside.
It's almost 2 systems.
It's 2 different systems. And also, because we have an open architecture, what we're managing is the interface. So you think about it, you have your hands on the wheel, your eyes are on the road, you have 2 5-position controllers, so you're dealing with all of the electronics just like you do today. You know how to do it. Everything's voice activated. We went from 100 commands to 1,000 commands, and within a very short period of time, we're going to have a conversation with the car. It'll be conversational. Like you can imagine with our cognitive ability, and now we've made us even a better driver, right? And you have access to all the things you need, whether it's your entertainment, whether it's navigation, guidance, charging your car up. You are now the center of the driving experience.
That's the Night Rider experience. It's really a great vision. It's what consumers want, I know. But it's got to be difficult to do. Are you doing the voice recognition in-house? Is Microsoft working with you still on that?
We're using all of our partners and suppliers and all the people that are on the leading edge of voice recognition. And plus, we're using, you know, Pandora, Twitter. I mean, we're using all.
You tweet?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm into communicating.
But you have somebody who does it for you.
I have a great team.
Let me ask you about renewables, and we'll let you go because I know you got to get going. But you're making a big commitment to renewables now.
Yes. Well, and
you've been a little behind on that. You've got Nissan. You've got.
We really haven't. I think we've been pretty low key about telling our story. But I would love to just give you a little perspective about where we've been. We have been in the U.S. We have been the hybrid leader. And you remember when we came
with the Fusion
and Fusion Escape, and the Fusion was the #1 vehicle in the United States. But the technology roadmap that we're on is a different strategy than everybody else. Where everybody else is kind of taking unique vehicles and technology demonstrators, we are bringing this fuel efficiency to the mainstream of all the Ford. So take this Focus again. We have designed it now so that in each plant, we're going to be able to make on the same production line a petrol engine, diesel engine, a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid with a little bit bigger battery, a all-electric vehicle. And now you can imagine, we're going to now match the production to the real demand, what you really want, what works for you.
That's the challenge. I mean, you had GM investing in all these battery vehicles, the EV1, and there was no demand, but now you can respond as demand increases, you can build more.
This is making all of our vehicles move into the future on fuel efficiency, but also we are designing the manufacturing system to be able to match what you want, the consumer, and that's the way you're going to get the cost down, to be able to get the value proposition better, and then you go to the next step, and you take these global cars and you get the value and the cost reduction because you spread over so many different more products, and you have all these different top hats. And this was Henry Ford's original vision. Remember that ad we talked about, 1924, January 24th, 1925. And he took that ad out in the Saturday Evening Post and it says, opening the highways to all mankind. He was dedicated to the premise that everybody ought to be able to enjoy motoring on the highways. Remember, then it was all for the wealthy. And so you think about what we're doing, we are absolutely accelerating the implementation of Henry Ford's original vision by making all of this what we all want. You're not sacrificing anything, no matter what vehicle. They're the best in class, and we're making it available and affordable for millions of people.
Are you going to do anything to stimulate demand for these renewables?
I think that it's going to come really naturally, because you're seeing more and more public-private partnerships where every country around the world is trying to figure out how do they move and address not only economic development, but energy independence and security, and also environmental sustainability. And the cool thing is, Ford is moved to be in a key element and a key piece of that solution. Because, we, just like in the United States, it's going to be us. It's going to be all of us decide, what are we going to do about energy? And what are we going to do about having clean energy? And we're going to be right in the middle of it with great solutions on how to use it in a clean way.
Alan, have a great speech. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
I've invested in you today, and if something happens up there, I want you to run up.
I'll run up.
Over for me.
I'll save you.
Okay, yeah, go save me.
Alan Mulally, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. It's great to see you, Alan. Take care. Bye-bye. CEO of Ford, and it is inspiring what Alan's up to and what Ford's up to, and you can see the re-engineering of a landmark company in the United States to enter the 21st century. That's pretty darn cool. We're going to send it back to the stage. Don't forget, I'm running over now to the North Hall. That's where all the home theater stuff is. Scott Wilkinson's waiting there. Home Theater Geek starts in just a few minutes. We're going to have Panasonic, Sony, LG, Sharp, all the cool new TVs and audio and more. And, of course, lots more from CES 2011. You're watching TWiT Live from Las Vegas and CES 2011. Take it away, Tom Merritt. Got our CEO. Here he comes. So we're going to say hello to Alan Mulally, who is the CEO of Ford. Alan, it's so good to see you. Oh, he gave me a kiss. Well, that was a great interview. Thank you, Alan, and we'll talk again next year. No, he's going to the little boys' room before he comes back here. But that was I'm not going to wipe that cheek off forever. He'll kiss me again? All right, Alan's people said, oh no, he's a kisser.